No one warns a man about what really happens after she walks away. They tell you to move on, stay strong, find yourself. But they never talk about the nights when silence feels like punishment. When your phone doesn't light up anymore, and the house sounds like it's breathing without you. You start scrolling through her feed. She's glowing, laughing, posting quotes about freedom and new beginnings. And you wonder how she looks so alive while you feel half dead. You replay every argument, every compromise, every moment you tried to save something that didn't want saving. You ask yourself, was I really that bad? Or did she just get tired of reality and start chasing a fantasy? Here's the truth. No one says out loud. When a woman leaves a man who once loved her, she doesn't step into happiness. She steps into a psychological maze she isn't ready for. And while she's busy convincing the world she's living her best life, her mind is quietly tearing itself apart, piece by piece. Because freedom without peace isn't freedom, it's noise. And behind every new chapter post lies the same story, one that always ends the same way. Let's talk about what really happens after divorce. Not the Instagram version, but the truth everyone's afraid to say. At first, she feels weightless, like she just slipped out of a cage she built in her own mind. She tells herself this is freedom, that leaving was power, that pain means progress. Every morning she wakes up with that new "I finally did it" rush, the kind that feels like adrenaline disguised as confidence. She changes the sheets, paints the walls, rearranges the furniture. It's her house now, her rules, her playlist echoing through the kitchen. She signs up for that yoga class she always postponed. She posts a quote about healing and independence, something about choosing herself. Her friends flood the comments. You're glowing, you're brave, you're unstoppable. And for a while, she believes them. She's living off the high of validation. Every like, every heart reaction, every message from girlfriends telling her she deserves better. It feeds her. She's not just happy. She's performing happiness. Because that's what the world rewards. She downloads the apps just to see what's out there. But we both know what that means. She's looking for proof that she made the right choice. Proof that someone out there sees her value. That leaving you was smart, not selfish. The matches come fast. The messages flood in. Men she doesn't know tell her how beautiful she looks, how strong she seems. She feels wanted again, or at least, she thinks she does. But what she's really feeling isn't desire, it's relief. Relief that someone, anyone, is noticing her again. It's the emotional sugar rush that comes after years of quiet resentment and routine. She's confusing attention with affection, novelty with meaning, fantasy with fulfillment. For now, it doesn't matter. She's floating. The story in her head is louder than reality. She's the heroine who escaped the dullness of us. She's rewriting history, one Instagram post at a time. She's not just surviving, she's proving something. To her friends, to her ex, to herself. But here's the part she doesn't understand. Yet. Freedom isn't fuel, it's fire. And the same spark that once made her feel alive will eventually start burning holes through her illusions. It happens slowly. A quiet night, a dinner alone, a familiar movie playing on the TV in the background. For the first time, the silence doesn't sound peaceful. It sounds empty. She starts scrolling through her phone again, not for fun, but for distraction. The same quotes about new beginnings now feel heavier, almost forced. Then comes the dating phase, the experiment, the proof she needs to keep believing the story. She goes out with someone who seems perfect on paper. He's attractive, charming, knows how to say all the right words at the right time. He pays the bill, compliments her eyes, leans in just enough to make her heart beat faster. For a few hours, it feels like the start of something. But then, when the night ends, reality cracks through the surface. He doesn't know her favorite song. He doesn't know the way she panics during thunderstorms. He doesn't care about the small things that made her human, the ones you knew instinctively, the ones you built a life around. To him, she's just another Friday night, another story he'll forget before morning. That realization hits hard, but she won't let herself feel it. Not yet. Admitting it would mean admitting she miscalculated. So she doubles down. She says yes to more dates. She laughs louder. She dresses differently. She tells herself she's healing, that she's finally finding herself. But deep down, she's running. From the silence, from the truth, from herself. The compliments start sounding repetitive. The messages all blur together. You're gorgeous. You're stunning. You seem so real. It used to feel intoxicating. Now it feels hollow, like she's watching a movie of her own life, and everyone's reading the same script. She begins to notice patterns. The charming guy interrupts her every time she talks. The successful one never asks real questions. The fun one drinks too much and disappears for days. She laughs it off, tells her friends it's just dating, but something in her gut knows better. She starts comparing them, not consciously but instinctively, to the man she left, to the man who used to know her without words. You. The memory creeps in like a shadow, the way you used to pour her coffee exactly right. The small jokes only you two got, the quiet familiarity that made the world less chaotic. She doesn't admit it out loud, but she feels it. Because no matter how different these men are, they all share one flaw. They're strangers. And for the first time, she realizes how exhausting it is to start over when your heart is still anchored to a ghost. Still, she can't stop. The illusion is too fragile to question. She tells herself it's just part of the journey, that she's supposed to enjoy the process. But inside, something is unraveling. Every night alone feels heavier. Every morning feels like pretending. What started as confidence turns into performance. What felt like freedom turns into maintenance. The mask is slipping, but she can't take it off. She's trapped in the image she created. And so, the honeymoon ends. Quietly. No explosion, no drama, just a slow leak of energy, joy, and meaning, until one day she wakes up and realizes she's been faking it for months. That's when the next phase begins, the awakening. And this one doesn't come with champagne and selfies. It comes with silence, with the kind of reflection that feels like punishment, because she'll finally start to see what she traded away. And it's not just a marriage, it's an entire identity. Before you scroll, take a second. If this story hit somewhere deep, if it felt a little too real, that means you're not alone. Subscribe now, because this isn't just content, it's clarity. Every video here peels back another layer of modern relationships, raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. At first, she doesn't even notice the shift. It starts small, a quiet thought she brushes off. A random memory of you showing up with her favorite coffee, the way you used to squeeze her hand when she was anxious. These moments sneak up on her between the noise, between the gym classes, the brunches, the late-night scrolling. They're like static interrupting the music of her new life. She tries to shake it off, tells herself it's nostalgia, just an echo from the past. But deep down, something inside her is beginning to whisper, this isn't what freedom feels like. The illusion starts to crack. She goes on another date. He's funny, attractive, and for a moment she lets herself enjoy it. But then he says something careless, or checks his phone too often, or laughs at a joke that doesn't land. And suddenly, she's not in the moment anymore. She's comparing. She's remembering. He doesn't listen like you did. He doesn't look at her the way you used to. He doesn't know her story, her fears, her quirks. Not really. To him, she's just another woman across the table. And that realization stings in a way she didn't expect. But she can't admit that. Not after all the noise she made about choosing herself. So she keeps moving, pretending she's fine. She dives deeper into distraction. More dates, more smiles, more validation. Anything to drown out the sound of truth banging on the walls of her mind. The problem is, the more she tries to feel something, the less she does. The compliments start to blur. The excitement fades faster each time. Every new man feels like a rerun of the same empty story. And somewhere between the half-hearted laughs and meaningless texts, the truth finally lands. It's not them. It's her. The truth is brutal. She didn't just walk away from you. She walked away from a version of herself that only existed with you. That realization is terrifying, because it means she's not lost in the world. She's lost inside her own story. The world around her doesn't make it easier. Her friends, the same ones who cheered her on in the beginning, are starting to live their own lives again. The endless, "You got this, queen" messages have slowed down. The brunches get canceled. The excitement fades. And when she starts talking about dating disappointments or how lonely she feels, they change the subject. Some of them even pull away. Her married friends grow cautious. She's no longer one of them. She's a reminder that happy endings can end. A reminder that someone can wake up one day and decide they've had enough. They still love her, but now there's distance. She's the variable they don't want in their equation. Her single friends? They're competition now. The ones she thought would be her new tribe have become rivals in an invisible game for attention. Every compliment feels like currency. Every photo online feels like a sales pitch. She laughs along, pretending she's still thriving, but inside she feels like an imposter in her own story. And this is when she starts rewriting the past. The marriage she once called suffocating doesn't look so bad in hindsight. The man she said never understood her suddenly seems more patient, more human, more real. The fights that once justified her decision now feel smaller, pettier, almost embarrassing. She starts wondering what would have happened if she'd just held on a little longer, if she'd tried one more time. But she can't say that out loud, not after everything she's said, not after building her identity on the idea that leaving made her strong. So instead of confronting it, she rationalizes. Maybe he's changed, she thinks. Maybe we both have. She begins checking your profile again, quietly. She doesn't interact, just scrolls, sees how you've been doing, wonders if you're happier, wonders if you've moved on. She tells herself she's just curious, but that's not curiosity. That's regret disguised as interest, and it eats at her. Meanwhile, life keeps moving. The attention that once felt endless starts to fade. The messages slow down. The likes drop. The world stops cheering. That's when it hits her. The spotlight doesn't love her. It just uses her until the next show starts. The illusion of control she built starts collapsing under its own weight. Every decision she made to find herself now feels like a performance she can't maintain. Because the truth is, she wasn't searching for herself. She was searching for a version of happiness that doesn't exist. And when the distractions stop working, she finally has to face the silence she's been running from. That's when the anxiety sets in. The sleepless nights, the restlessness, the urge to text you, not because she wants to come back, but because she wants to feel something familiar again. She'll type the message, delete it, retype it, delete it again. It's a war between pride and longing, and neither side wins. She tells herself she's fine, that this is part of growth, but inside, she's unraveling. Her confidence has cracks. Her smile feels heavier. The mirror doesn't lie anymore. The story she built about freedom is falling apart, and she can't figure out how to rewrite it this time. Because freedom, she's learning, isn't about leaving. It's about peace. And peace doesn't come from escape. It comes from understanding. But understanding comes too late. So she keeps pretending, posting, smiling, saying all the right things, because stopping now would mean admitting it. That maybe the life she was running from wasn't her prison. Maybe it was her anchor, and deep down, beneath all the noise and the pride and the filters, she knows it. She just can't say it yet. It always starts quietly. There's no big explosion, no cinematic breakdown, just a slow, invisible collapse. She wakes up one morning and realizes the air feels heavier. The messages on her phone don't excite her anymore. The weekends she used to fill with plans suddenly feel longer. The silence she once called peace now feels like punishment. She doesn't know it yet, but she's entering the panic phase, the part of the story no one posts about. Her energy drops, the sparkle fades. The new chapter narrative doesn't land the same when the audience stops clapping. She's tired, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, psychologically tired. Every "you're so strong" comment starts to sound like pity. Every quote about healing feels like a reminder that she's still broken. The truth begins to whisper again. It's softer this time, but sharper. It says, you traded comfort for chaos, love for noise, certainty for illusion, and she tries to fight it. She signs up for new things, goes out more, distracts herself harder, but nothing hits the same. The compliments are dull, the attention feels cheap. Even her own reflection looks like a stranger, someone pretending to be fine. Then come the small moments that break her. A photo of you with the kids, a song you both loved, a random memory that sneaks in while she's waiting in line for coffee. These moments don't just sting, they echo, because they remind her of something she lost that she can't recreate: belonging. It's not about romance anymore, it's about safety. It's about being known without explanation. And now, she has to earn that feeling again from scratch. Except this time, she's not sure she knows how. Around this time, her social circle starts to shift again. The same friends who once lifted her up are living their own lives. They've moved on. The phone doesn't ring as often. The group chats are quieter. Her girls' nights turn into excuses that don't materialize. Her married friends, the ones who encouraged her to be brave, are suddenly distant. Not out of cruelty, but self-preservation. She's a reminder that stability isn't guaranteed, a walking what-if. The conversations become polite, surface level. The invites to family dinners stop coming. Her single friends? They're different too. The ones she thought she'd conquer the world with have become competitors. They're chasing the same men, the same attention, the same validation loop. There's no sisterhood in that, only survival. And this is where the loneliness gets real. Because now she sees it. She didn't just lose a marriage. She lost her ecosystem, her person, her identity, her tribe. She tells herself she's strong enough to rebuild, but even strength feels like an act now. Behind the selfies, behind the captions, behind the self-love posts, she's exhausted. She's been performing joy for so long that she's forgotten what real joy feels like. And that's when the reckoning begins. The late-night thoughts become harder to silence. She lies awake staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. The arguments, the words, the moments she said she was done. She rewrites the story in her head 100 different ways. If I had waited, if I had listened, if I had known. But regret is a cruel teacher. It only shows up after the test is over. She'll try to reach out sometimes, not always directly. Maybe a casual message late at night. Hey, how are you? Or something nostalgic, harmless on the surface. But underneath it, the meaning is raw. I miss the version of me that existed when I was with you. She won't admit it, not even to herself. But those texts aren't about you. They're about the ghost of who she used to be, the woman who felt anchored, safe, seen, and the worst part? She knows you're healing. She can see it. You're rebuilding, growing, getting stronger. You're no longer the man she left. You're the man she always said she wanted. And that realization hurts in a way words can't capture. Because now, she's watching the best version of you from the outside. It's a slow kind of torture, the kind that doesn't bleed, but burns. She's seeing the life she wanted to create, just not with her in it. This is the moment most men never see, the private unraveling behind her curated life. She's smiling in pictures but crying in parking lots. She's saying she's fine, but breaking in silence. The mask is heavy now, but she can't take it off. Too much pride. Too many witnesses. Every Sunday night becomes the same ritual. The house goes quiet. The distractions fade. The performance ends. And for a few hours, it's just her and the truth. She's alone, not empowered, not free, just alone. And here's the universe's dark sense of humor. Her regret always blooms right as you start to recover. While she's finally realizing what she lost, you're learning how to live again. While she's looking backward, you're building forward. That imbalance is her punishment, her private circle of hell. Because the truth she can't escape is this: you healed without her. You became better because of the pain she caused. And now, she's the one standing still, staring at the version of you she always said she wanted, realizing it's too late to have him. That's the reckoning. It doesn't happen in one night. It happens slowly, painfully, over months of pretending. It's the moment she stops believing her own story and starts facing the one she never wanted to read. And from here, everything gets darker. Because what comes next isn't sadness. It's understanding. The kind that hurts more than heartbreak. It's usually around the 1-year mark when the performance finally breaks. The mask doesn't fit anymore. The smiles feel mechanical. The captions sound hollow, even to her own ears. She's not glowing. She's tired. She's been holding her breath for months, pretending to be free while quietly drowning in the consequences of her choices. The reckoning doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with quiet moments that hit like a punch to the chest. Opening the fridge and realizing no one else's favorite drink is in there anymore. Folding laundry and catching a whiff of a shirt that still smells like you. Sitting at dinner and realizing there's no one to ask how her day went. That's when it hits her. She didn't just lose a marriage. She lost her home base, her gravity, her mirror. Freedom feels different now. It doesn't feel brave. It feels empty. Independence without peace isn't strength. It's survival. And survival is exhausting. So she starts looking for comfort again, not love. Comfort. Something to numb the ache. The apps return. The endless swiping. The meaningless chats. The empty promises. But this time, it's different. The thrill is gone. The responses feel forced. The attention doesn't feed her anymore. It drains her. The men she meets fall into the same patterns. The charming one turns out selfish. The generous one turns cold. The fun one vanishes. And each time it happens, the realization cuts deeper. It's not that all men are broken. It's that no one will ever know her the way you did. Because you didn't just love her, you understood her. And that's not something she can recreate with strangers who barely remember her birthday. Her world starts to shrink. Friends fade away. The ones who once cheered for her new beginning stop checking in. The single ones become competitors. The married ones grow cautious. She's no longer one of them. She's an outlier, a warning sign. Even her kids, if you have them, sense it. They notice the tension, the exhaustion, the cracks in her armor. The house doesn't feel as warm. The laughter isn't as loud. She tries to compensate with trips, toys, or smiles that don't reach her eyes. But kids are intuitive. They feel what she hides. And that realization cuts deeper than any heartbreak. The loneliness becomes physical. It seeps into her body. The lack of touch, the absence of small gestures, it starts to change her. The stress builds. The hormones shift. Sleep becomes restless. Her body aches for what her pride rejected. Connection. And one night, when the distractions run out, when the house is finally still, the truth walks in uninvited. It doesn't yell. It whispers. You were wrong. That whisper will echo for years, because now she sees it clearly. The illusion she chased was never real. The fantasy of something better was just her own restlessness in disguise. She wasn't running toward happiness. She was running away from herself. And now she's here, staring at the wreckage. This is when regret turns into silence. She won't post about it. She won't admit it to her friends. But she'll feel it every single day. Every time she sees a happy couple at dinner. Every time she hears a song that reminds her of what she threw away. Every time she sees you smiling again. Not bitter, not broken, just okay. That moment breaks something inside her that will never fully heal. Because your happiness is proof. Proof that it wasn't the marriage that was broken. It was her perspective. You were capable of love. You were capable of growth. You were capable of being the man she claimed she wanted. And you became him. Just not for her. That's the cruelest irony. You evolved through the pain she caused, and she stayed exactly where she was, trapped in the story she created, rewriting it over and over, trying to make it sound noble. But deep down, she knows it wasn't bravery that pushed her to leave. It was fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of settling. Fear of facing her own reflection. She thought freedom would make her whole. It didn't. It just exposed the emptiness she'd been avoiding. And when she finally accepts that, it's too late. You've healed. You've moved on. You've become the man she couldn't see, with someone who can. That's the part she can't escape, knowing she was the catalyst for your growth, but not the one who gets to enjoy it. That's her real punishment. Not loneliness, not aging, not time, but awareness. The awareness that she traded something real for something temporary, and now has to live with that truth in silence. Because regret doesn't scream. It lingers. It shows up in the quiet moments. The empty seat across the table, the holidays without laughter, the birthday texts that never come. It's in the way she scrolls through your profile late at night, staring at a version of you that looks at peace. She'll tell herself she's happy for you. She'll even believe it sometimes. But deep down, she knows the truth. You found what she was looking for. You just found it without her. And that's the final realization, the one that hurts more than the breakup itself. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because she believed there was more. But the world doesn't reward belief. It rewards reality. And reality doesn't bend for fantasies. By the time she figures that out, the story's already over. The credits have rolled. You're no longer her chapter to rewrite. You're the lesson she'll never admit she learned.